Council agenda, Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, Township Council agenda meeting of April 2nd, 2024. Introduction, posting a notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice in the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December 20th, 2023, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the North Star Ledger on December 26, 2023. May I please ask everyone to stand for the flag salute? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Ms. Hernandez.
I'm here.
She's attending telephonically at this point. Mr. Musella?
Here.
Mr. McGrath?
Here.
Mr. Neglia?
Here.
Mr. Karifi?
Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor James Barbario, Business Administrator Jamie Cryan. We have the Township Attorney Michael Lavery and the Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. Can I begin?
Yes, please.
Okay, upcoming meetings, April 16th, 2024 at 7 p.m. is the regular meeting. May 7th of 2024 at 7 p.m. is the agenda meeting. Moving along to ordinances, second reading and public hearing, ordinance 2024-05, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, naming streets within the park development and renaming Lanedex Plaza to Park Lane. The notice for ordinance 2024-05 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on March 25th, 2024, and introduced at the March 19th, 2024 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2024-05 be heard in its second and final reading by title only.
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to the public hearing. Motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2024-05.
Make a motion?
Okay, motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded
Second.
by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
The floor is open to the public. On this ordinance only, you have 5 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing no one, moving along to a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2024-05.
Make a motion? Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. May I please have a motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2024?
Motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. At this time, we're moving along to the public session. I'd like to please entertain a motion to open the public session.
Motion? Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is open to the public. You can speak on any matter of concern. You have 5 minutes to speak. No.
We should probably start testing these before the meeting. Okay, to begin with, for the, I don't know how many times, I'm going to ask again, can there be a little podium here for people who want to speak so they have paperwork, they can rest it here and not have to throw it on the table? I'd like to welcome the 2 new members to the council. I've been absent from a couple of meetings, so it's my first opportunity to do that. Anybody, don't take this personally, but I'd like to see some more new members from time to time. Sitting up here. On, the other day, I noticed something on the website on Tap into Parsippany that the tonnage grants were listed at $111,000, correct, Mayor?
The tonnage grants were at $111,000.
Well, okay, it seemed like everybody was very pleased with that. The only problem is that number is actually down. In a prior year, you were up to 122,000. So I don't know why we're so happy about actually getting a smaller tonnage grant. Now, is that just so people could read it in the newspaper and think that we're doing a bang-up job here?
Do you have any other questions? We'll answer them all at the end.
Okay. I called the Mayor's Action Hotline about a month ago about some graffiti that was on a fence next to the UPS store. As you know, once you get graffiti in one area, it's like a fungus. It just keeps growing. The graffiti at some point in time was sort of fixed. The old graffiti was in gold. Someone spray painted over the gold with green, but you still have that same mark on the fence. Why wasn't it totally removed? Or here's a suggestion, take that piece of fence and just flip it so that it's facing towards the vacant lot, not towards the public. What they did, I'm sure, was a try, but it didn't really fix anything. You know, if we're going to do something, let's not do it half you-know-what. Okay? Another item is, has anything been settled with how much money the schools and the fire departments will be getting from the properties that were designated as pilots? Do we have a number? Do we have a percentage? Do we have anything? All right? Another item is, what's the status of the renovation, replacement, whatever, of the Lake Hiawatha Library? That seems to be an issue that's been dangling out there for an extended period of time. And I know I know for whatever reason, it's not being mentioned. Why isn't anybody talking about that? Do we have a limited amount of time to get that $3 million from the state? Or has that time run out? And if it has run out, why did we permit it to run out? Why didn't we take advantage of that? It seems awful quiet in here.
Those are your questions?
Yeah, one more. At the meeting that you held on the 28th of December, I brought some regulations up to the chief of police, where it stated that you were clearly over the threshold for how many people you
Sir,
could...
your time is up.
Okay.
Council President,
Go ahead.
I can answer some of those
Okay.
questions. The $111,000 that we received, we are grateful for, not because people are popping out their chest, but because anytime we're receiving any money nowadays when it comes to recycling, it's a plus. Those monies have been going down year by year by year. It's less items are acceptable. There's a lot of factors to that. But recycling is a lot more difficult. The market is a lot different than it used to be. As far as the status of Lake Hiawatha, the grant, we received $3 million. The town was matching $3 million, or up to $3 million. The cost of the project, I believe, is about $9 million. So it was way over budget. They had looked into a couple of different avenues, such as, scaling down the project, if that was possible. Mayor and I met with the library director, I believe it was last week. Was that last week?
Last week, yeah.
Last week, yes, to discuss this as one of the issues. And they are going to be looking at trying to pare it down a little bit more, and coming back with a different proposal, and hopefully the state will accept that. We're not, overly confident that they will, but we don't want to just, throw away that $3 million because we can't utilize it. But the problem would be that the town is not in any position to give $6 million to this project.
When does that grant run out for the state?
I don't know exactly when it runs out. The library would know that better.
In speaking to the library, I'm the liaison. They mentioned that they've spoken to the state several times, and they've not given an indication on when it runs out. The state is aware how much building costs have gone up. The original building cost to do the renovation was $6 million prior to COVID, but since COVID, as we all know, prices have skyrocketed. They're currently looking at different ways of utilizing that $3 million if they can through the state, and trying to renovate it in such a way where the state will approve it. If not, or rebuild, I should say, a new library. If not, then they're going to look into renovating the existing library, which really is not what they would like to do. They also looked at other grants, but were turned down on a couple other grants that were out there. There was a $2 million grant, and I think a $1.5 million grant, but they're still looking at other avenues to try to get some money in where they can, and try to shrink down the project a little so we don't lose that money. But the state has to approve anything that they do based on the specs of the project.
Mr. Krein, do you have anything else or no?
No, I don't.
The fence that the gentleman is talking about, is that a private fence or is that our fence?
It's on Parsippany Boulevard, I believe. I believe it is a private.
It's North Bend Road.
Where's this?
Lake Hiawatha,
Lake
North Bend
Hiawatha.
Road.
Oh, okay.
It is, I think it's a private for what's being built over there right now.
Okay.
But we'll remedy that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, once you get it one place, it's just great.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think there's one.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Eric Densmore. I live at 87 Mara Road in Lake Hiawatha. I moved back into town about 5 or 6 months ago, and I've been listening to a lot going on about pilots and some of the other things that this town needs. I haven't publicly commented on any of it, and I'm certainly not going to start now. However, when considering pilots, I think that we need to take into consideration what type of businesses this town really needs. How can they serve the residents? I'm a little bit concerned because I feel like we've lost some critical businesses over the last couple of years. We lost the movie theater just before the pandemic hit. I thought that was a great place for families to go to see a movie. Certainly a lot more convenient than a lot of the other movie theaters that are right around this area. I know that obviously Marshalls and Home Goods are moving down the road, but since they are the anchor tenants, I'm concerned also about what's going to happen to that shopping center. There are some good businesses in there that still remain. But one of the big concerns that I think has happened now is the situation that is about to occur in Lake Hiawatha. As many of you know, or may not know, Rite Aid is closing. They're closing on April the 22nd. And I think this could create a catastrophic healthcare problem for that part of town, due to the fact that we've already lost a couple of other pharmacies. The folks that rented the spot out in Food Town a couple of years ago are gone. That Rite Aid carries a lot of prescriptions. A lot of people have relied on it. I have, because I am a caregiver for my mom. And all of those prescriptions are going to be transferred over to the Walgreens on Baldwin Avenue. That Walgreens is already overwhelmed because many of the other pharmacies that have not made it or closed down have transferred their prescriptions to it. I think we are potentially looking at very long lines at the pharmacy or very long wait times for people who need it. I'm talking about senior citizens, people who potentially really take a lot of prescriptions and really need this. I think when considering whether or not to get pilots or just having businesses come into town in general, I would certainly encourage to take a long look and see how do we make up this gap for what's about to occur, losing that Rite Aid. Because again, that was a very high volume store. According to the statistics that I saw, that was one of the best performing Rite Aids in the state. It means that the whole company is just kind of going down. But I think, I realize it's a private business, but at some point we do have to figure out if a healthcare emergency or some type of slowdown occurs with that part of town. I think you're going to have a lot of residents have a very difficult time with this. So, that's how I feel. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Venezia, Parsippany. At the last meeting, there was some disagreement over whether or not a municipality is legally obligated to grant a pilot to a developer. Since then, I have done some additional research and have not come up with a single reference that says a municipality can be required to grant a pilot. On the other hand, I have found several references that clearly indicate that the granting of pilots on the part of a municipality is purely discretionary. There is no guarantee that a developer won't sue to obtain a pilot, but the law is clearly on the side of the municipality. Consider the following excerpts. First one from website re-nj.com, which describes itself as the voice of New Jersey commercial real estate, explicitly states, and I quote, "The granting of a pilot by the municipality is entirely discretionary." Second excerpt, the municipal tax abatement report by former New Jersey State Comptroller Matthew Boxer also seems to be clear on the matter. On page 4, it reads, and I quote, "Upon adopting the planning board's recommendation and formalizing the redevelopment area designation, a municipality adopts a redevelopment plan, engages redevelopment entities to carry out the plan, and may, and that's the key word, may authorize long-term tax abatements in the process." And the last one comes from New Jersey state law. And state law NJSA 40A:20-4, which was the original state law which authorized municipalities to grant pilots, indicates that they are discretionary, and I quote from that one: "The governing body of a municipality which has adopted a redevelopment plan pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law may enter into a financial agreement with an urban renewal entity for the undertaking of a project set forth in the redevelopment plan adopted by the governing body pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law," end quote. Parsippany needs to thoroughly understand its rights regarding pilots, or developers may use them as a weapon to extract millions of dollars unnecessarily from the township. I'm not suggesting that Parsippany should use its veto power on every pilot that is proposed, because financially sound commercial pilots may benefit the township. However, Parsippany should always exercise its power to deny residential pilots, which are known to be money-losing propositions, mainly because of the high educational costs that the township must absorb. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Letts, 9 Jeffrey Drive, Parsippany. I just wanted to direct, hello, Paul, how are you? Let me first direct a compliment toward Justin Usella. I have attended some of his what do we call them, your office hours, and I know it doesn't sit well with some, but I greatly appreciate that. And I was very happy when I heard about your plans to hold a town hall meeting coming up this weekend. I plan to be there with my family and some of my friends. I also wanted to compliment the mayor. I learned about your town hall meeting, and I was delighted to hear that. However, I found out by looking at a flyer that this meeting may be only for a certain segment of our town. And I wanted to seek some clarification.
Sure.
Am I allowed to attend?
Oh, I'll wait for you to get 5
Okay,
minutes.
yeah, I mean, I just want to know if I'm allowed to attend based on my ethnicity, my skin color, and my place of birth, if you're allowed to.
I'm just gonna wait for his 5 minutes to be up.
Oh, yeah, that's all I need to ask. I just
Okay,
wanted to know
that's
if
it.
because I was planning to attend, but. my
Okay, well, first and foremost, that sound like a pretty much, I don't base it on color of skin. I don't base on having any of these things based on that. I don't use a race card. I don't do any of that. The community asked, a member of the community asked to meet, and asked if I would do a town hall specifically for the Indian Americans community. I said, absolutely, I would do that. I would do it for anybody in the community. Be Italian, be Spanish, whatever you are. Jewish community, I would do it for any of them. Not a problem. But that being said, Mr. Letts, what I will be doing is, now that we got our final numbers in on our budget, I will be having town hall meetings. I've been coordinating with a lot of the civic associations here in town with regards to having, and the problem having one big one is, you saw what happened on December 28th. People get riled up, and that's not what we want. We want the people to be heard. They were not heard on December 28th. So what I'm doing is, I reached out to all the civic associations, left messages with them. We're gonna have town halls. I'm gonna try to book the schools, if they give me the school, that's up to them. And we can have a town hall meeting for everybody as well. But this was specifically asked of me of a member of the Indian community, and I wasn't gonna turn them down with regards. I also said to that individual, until we get the final numbers, I really don't want to have a town hall, because I'm really excited about our budget. I have to tell you, I'm very excited about our budget. And that's what I want to portray to the residents of Parsippany. I want to portray to them that we have been successful over the last 3 years, and we are where we are. But this has nothing to do with Indian Americans, Italian Americans, Irish Americans, nothing whatsoever.
So if I show up to the meeting, I'll be allowed in?
It's a private meeting, it's up to them, not
It's a public
me.
meeting, you're the mayor and police chief and business.
Listen, I could,
Wait, I'm sorry, there's no back and forth.
Yeah, we're not gonna have any.
Okay, well, I just want to read, if I may, just one last thing. I did reach out to Mr. Shaw, and I asked him very simply whether it would be open to all residents, and he said to me, with all due respect, I understand the mayor has been organizing a town hall meeting around Parsippany. This meeting I'm organizing is for the Indian American community. So basically, his answer was, if I show up, I'm going to be excluded. And
It's not up to me.
Is there anything you particularly want to know?
I
'Cause
want to
I can
know
answer
whether
questions
that's
for you.
legal to do, to exclude someone like
I don't know.
That would be,
We're not gonna have any back
that
and
would be a
forth.
question for them.
I agree with you.
Well, I think
Yeah,
what,
drop your questions off.
I
That's the
think-
best way to do it.
what
Right.
Mr. Letts is, the point he's trying to make, and it's not just a point that he alone has been making, it's actually many other individuals, is they find it problematic that the town is sanctioning an event that members of the public are excluded from. That's the fundamental problem here.
Well, any organization can ask any member of the council or the mayor to come speak to their organization. If it's up to them who they invite or who they don't invite. So it's not, just because the mayor's speaking, it doesn't make it a town event. It's their event that they asked him to come speak to. It would just be like, you get invited to talk to the Rotary Club, the Kiwanis Club, any organization like that.
No, I think, you know.
I don't think you're not, you can't sit here and turn it around and accuse somebody of being a racist or something else just because they're invited to one certain group. Those questions are a question for that particular group.
No, I think the problem, have you seen the invite?
No.
Okay, well, I think that would also allow you to see why it's problematic. It has the township seal, you have the mayor, the business administrator, the chief of police. It is, for all intents and purposes, a township event that's being promoted and circulated by a private citizen. And there's many other reasons why I'm sure you know that would be problematic. That, if I show you the invite, I think it might help you understand where Dennis is coming from.
I think it's form over substance, because any group, there's, all the groups in Parsippany, if somebody invites the mayor to come speak and he comes, if they choose to put the town seal on it or something else, maybe they shouldn't have done that, but, you know, it's their event. And so if people are confused and think it's a town event, it's their event, so they can invite whoever they want. If the Jewish community wants to invite somebody, the Italian community, the Irish community, they're running the event, that's their decision to make.
Okay, so just to be clear, this is a private event, this is not a township promoted and sponsored event.
No, he asked me, the gentleman asked me, I said I would do it. I think it actually bothers you and Mr. Letts more than anybody else. I haven't received one phone call with regards to this whatsoever. And if anybody wants to call me, 973-263-4380, and I'll discuss it with you. I know you've made some comments to individuals, because they told me, in the Indian community, with regards to it. I would meet with anybody. It doesn't matter what group you're from. If they want to have a private meeting with me, I'll have a private meeting with them. Just like you go to Starbucks and you guys coordinate and then you come here. It's very similar.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public session.
Motion to close?
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd just like you guys to review the consent agenda and the approval of minutes, and we'll be moving along to the presentation and reports. Mayor?
Sure, let me get my other glasses on. Well, I did have it in my notes here to talk about the town hall within the Indian community, because I knew this was going to be a subject, just by, and I knew who was coming up to speak tonight, and pretty much I kind of knew, but we answered that with regards to having with the Indian American community, and like I said, you know, I have it with any community here. I have it with the Muslim community, Jewish community, Catholic, Christian, doesn't matter. You know, in fact, I spoke to a lot of individuals today, and they're excited to have the town hall and the mayor to be present with the department heads and to discuss, not to sit here and try to, who got you type of thing, because that's what's been going on here lately in Parsippany, as we all know. Now, with that being said, I'll start off on April 20th, we have Earth Day. I met with members of DPW, the police department, our councilwoman, Judy Hernandez, and it's going to be a really good event here. So the council, I left in your mailbox a memo with regards to that. I think it was that, or Arbor Day. Oh, Arbor Day. You got Arbor Day 2 coming up. But so, you know, April 20th. You know, Mr. Eric Dinsmore, who actually just left here, made some good points with regards to the economic situation in Parsippany, and everybody wants to continue to ignore it. And we bring up pilots as if it's an evil word, and it's really not evil. But yes, they are discretionary, absolutely correct. That has never been said it's not. And pilots are not approved by the mayor, they're approved by the council. So they are discretionary. If the council wants to do a pilot after the redevelopment process is over with and done, that's fine, that can happen. So with that being said, and the reason why I bring this up is because I got some news today with regards to from our tax assessor with regards to new tax appeals. New. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know. We have a total of $468 million in tax appeals.
New.
New. That's new.
It's just new.
That means you have these corporations coming into Parsippany saying we need a tax appeal. Well, our tax assessors are very good. Hopefully, that 463 million, and you times it by the rate, we have potentially lose a lot of revenues here in the town. Okay, let's talk about Rite Aid. Let's talk about Morris, the Troy Hills Shopping Center down the road, and the Morris Hill Shopping Center. We talked about the movie theater. Well, we don't own the property, and there's a lot of property here we don't own, but there's going to be a lot of. It's going to be very busy here in Parsippany within the next year. Maybe 2 years with regards to the new affordable housing bill. That affordable housing bill is going to be an albatross for Parsippany. You have so many locations in Parsippany that could be slighted for affordable housing. And some of these tax appeals, the new ones that came in, are very, very large properties. So you know that the developers are going to come seeking to look at those properties for possible, potential affordable housing. Our goal is to try to fill these things up, settle, do what we need to do with these corporations. And some are pretty big corporations. So we got hit with that over the last few days, and I expect actually more tax appeals to come in, and I hope it doesn't hit the number of $1 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot to lose here in Parsippany. Okay? Say what you want about the pilot programs, but we saved a lot of those properties from becoming affordable housing, especially with this new round. We are at such a disadvantage with this new round. I cannot believe that the actual legislators even passed this bill. We would have had until the end of 2025 to come up with a plan. Now we have to the end of January 31st of 2025. We have to have a plan ready. And if we don't have our plan ready, we have the possibility to lose our immunity. What does that mean when you lose your immunity? That means a developer pretty much has right away to do what it wants. It can bypass our zoning, and if I'm wrong, council will let me know. We can lose a lot, and they get to build what they want, how they want. And I know this because when I was the administrator in Englewood Cliffs, the council and the mayor got very stubborn, and they lost their immunity. And when they lost their immunity, guess what? They got to put a lot of affordable housing. They could put 100% in if they wanted to. Oh, we don't want that to happen to Parsippany, but at the same time, we got to fight this affordable housing. I think that's just totally my opinion. And I'm sure it's most of the council's opinion. Let's talk about the budget. I want to thank the residents, although there's not many of you here right now, but when I do my town halls, for trusting me, it's coming back in 2022. When we came back here in 2022, the township was in a very bad way, $8.5 million in the hole. I have to tell you, I'm very excited about this budget here. This budget is like one of the lowest budgets. We replenished all our utilities, and we will not be using any utility surplus in this budget. So no.
Happy, Bob?
So there'll be no utility surplus used. The average house is set at $212,000. You'll see a $6 a month increase in your taxes. Okay, you got to hire new police officers. You got to replace the retired police officers. And there's a lot more that I'm going to speak about when I give my presentation on the introduction on April 16th. This budget is very prudent, and I want to thank Council President and Council Vice President. When we met with them a few weeks ago. We explained everything to them, where we're at, manpower-wise, and stuff like that. But we replenished, and not only that, we have a healthy utility surplus in water and sewer, and, we still thought maybe we can use a little surplus. I wanted to make Bob happy. So, with that being said, but that's because we were prudent. We had to make some tough decisions starting in 2022. Then 2023, the tax rate kept coming down and coming down and coming down. Our bond rating from 2021 was a negative. They made us a positive last year, and I expect our bond rating to go up, and I hope it does go up. You can never know with Moody's Standard & Poor going into end of this year coming. So I'm looking forward to presenting the budget to the council. I'm looking forward to having my town halls with regards for the residents, because they deserve some good news. So, that being said, Council President, thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, so on April 9th, beginning at 5:30 PM and going through the night, we're going to have a budget meeting for the public that will be held here, and that will go through each department. As the mayor said, Bob, I told you were going to be happy. There's no money being used from the sewer or the water, any of the utilities for this budget. It comes out to about $6 per month for the municipal budget, our budget, what we control, okay? $6 a month. That also includes 3 new additional police officers. So we had a lot of members from the public in the past come up and say that they were willing to pay a little bit more to have more police on the road. So for $6 a month, you're getting 3 additional police officers that'll be deployed on the road, which is almost 1 per shift, okay? So we did have that finance committee meeting. We went over the budget. Again, that doesn't mean, all the council members are going to be receiving their budget books tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow, end of the week. Yep.
Or end of the week? Okay. And they'll have time to review that before next Tuesday's meeting and make any additional proposals that they would like. But again, I think this is a very good budget. So, and Bob, I told you you'd be happy, so I see the smile on your face. And I'm sure Nick would be happy as well. So, thank you.
Any other member from the Township Council?
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, I'm looking forward to reviewing the budget and dissecting it. And then secondly, this Saturday on April 6th at noon at the Halsey Library, I'll be having my town hall, which is mainly focused on constituent services, and any member of the public is welcome to attend. And I encourage everybody to bring a friend, a neighbor, and come with anything you want to talk about.
I have the answers for you if you want.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
Yep. So, economic development, we have a ribbon cutting coming up at Wash and Wags at 87 North Beverwick Road on April 20th at 11:30 a.m. Our next economic development meeting is Wednesday, April 10th at 6:30 at 90 East Halsey Road, 3rd floor conference room. For additional information, please reach out to Frank Cahill at 973-559-6000. And I keep bragging every other week that we're here. I believe we have almost $500,000 in applied for grants for the businesses here in Parsippany. These are the ones that we've been talking about over the last couple weeks. So again, Frank, incredible job partnering with the state on bringing some of those things forward. Additionally, we had our Transparency Advisory Committee meeting on 3/25. We've solidified the dates. It's going to be Thursdays, twice a month, here at Town Hall. And we'll work on getting that out to everybody once we have that solidified on the exact dates and times. So we're working on the committee members to verify that with them. And the last one, Chamber of Commerce had another great opportunity to sit with them on the 26th. Again, can't recommend it enough to a lot of the people that are coming here to town or opening businesses here in town. It's a great opportunity to network and partner with some of your peers. And again, we had a great opportunity to listen to some of the people from the state talk about those grants that I just referenced. So again, highly recommend you attend the next Chamber of Commerce meeting. Thank you.
Anyone else from Township Council? Okay, Township Attorney?
Yes, just a quick update on the Glenmont roads. I spoke to the developer's attorney. He is getting their documents together to provide a response to the township. The sewer utility is videoing the sewer system because at some point they'd be asking us to take that over. The water utility is also checking the water lines that exist there. And we sent a revised estimate that was prepared by Justin Lizza, our township engineer, splitting the road from the homeowners association roads to the single-family homeowners. So I also sent a letter to the homeowners association's attorney showing him, what that amount is for the homeowners association roads, and I haven't received a response yet. Along those lines, there's some other developments that this same developer had constructed. There's at least 4 of them where we have similar issues with roads that were never accepted or dedicated to the township, that we're gonna have similar problems. And then, just these past week, we received another request to take over roads in Jamie Estates. So I'll keep you posted on that, but that's my report.
Thank you.
Business Administrator?
Thank you, Council President. Just real quickly wanted to mention the Earth Day events. There's, on April 20th, there's the cleanup. You can sign up on the Recreation website for that. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's been very successful the last couple of years, so please consider taking part in that. There's also a shredded event here on Town Hall from 9 to 12 at the same time. The budget hearing this next Tuesday will have the larger departments here: police, public works, planning and zoning, which includes building, engineering, which is part of public works, and the utilities, water, sewer, and Knoll. At the end, there'll be a public portion if anybody wants to make any comments. And this information, the budgetary information, will be out well over a month before this council has to vote on it, and that'll be on. The plan is to introduce on April 16th and vote on May 20th. So if you have any questions, if members of the public have any questions once it's posted online, please feel free to contact my office, and we'll do our best to get you answers as quickly as possible, as we did last year. The other thing is on your agenda for consideration is the Arrive Together program MOU with the county and a couple of other municipalities around here. Arrive is alternative responses to reduce instances of violence and escalation. It's a program started by the Attorney General that has been successful in other parts of New Jersey to de-escalate issues and calls dealing with mental health distresses. We ask our law enforcement officers to undertake roles that they traditionally never would have had to have taken: marriage counselors, psychiatrists, addiction specialists, social workers. So having a mental health professional involved in the process will help that significantly. And that's what the numbers have told us around the state and the other pilot programs that have happened there. That's all I have.
Can we just get when you get a chance, a copy of the last month's crime report, please?
Sure.
Okay, I have no report. Moving along to ordinances and first reading, just take a moment to review those. Okay, moving on to the approval of payroll and bills. The CFO, Leonard Ho, recommends authorization for payment. Number 1, authorizes payment of the April 12, 2024 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000. Number 2, payment of bills from voucher list of 4/1/24 through 4/3/24, which is $2,591,725.03. May I please have a motion to approve the authorization for payment?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, second, we'll say motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving along to executive session. Resolution, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss attorney-client privilege matters, potential litigation and settlement recommendation, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. May I please have a motion to adjourn into closed session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. McGrath.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
We're going to adjourn. We don't anticipate more than 10 minutes max, and we may be taking action after the closed session. Thank you. Okay, could I please have a motion to reconvene into open session, please?
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, we're back into open session. Moving on to Resolution R 2024-56, approving settlement in Thomas Controls Incorporated litigation. Motion to approve the resolution, please.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. McGrath. Roll call. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes. Was that the executive session?
Yes,
item?
if you'd like, you can abstain, Miss.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did
I'll-
receive a
I'll
memo
abstain.
on it.
Thank you.
Have the opportunity to read that memo.
Yeah, you did receive a memo, but if you'd like, you can abstain, and then we can have.
Oh, okay. All right. No. Then I just don't know what the protocol is. Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Hernandez is a yes vote. Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Moving along to adjournment, may I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a great night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.
She was loud. That was, I mean, not